1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. An advisory committee appointed for the support of the National Economic Council. Another 5 fuel ships are scheduled to arrive in the country. A long-term contract for the import of diesel and crude oil. Measures to correct the facts included in the Human Rights Commissioner's report. Media Minister says that the government is responding to the present economic crisis in a sensitive manner. And in foreign news, US issues warning to China. News in detail now. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has appointed a 14-member advisory committee to advise the National Economic Council. Speaking at the media briefing to announce cabinet decisions, Minister Ramesh Pathrana said the Cabinet of Ministers has green-lighted the appointment of this advisory committee. Another 5 ships carrying fuel are scheduled to arrive in the island. Chairman of the Petroleum Corporation Sumit Wijesinghe said that necessary measures will be taken for the unloading of fuel within the next 10 days. The prices of oil in the world market has been increased due to Russian-Ukrainian war situation. Meanwhile, bids have been invited from registered suppliers to award a long-term contract to import diesel for a period of 8 months from the 1st of this month to the 31st of October this year. Bids have been invited by following the international competitive methodologies to select an appropriate contractor for the implementation of the project. The Standing Procurement Committee appointed by the Cabinet of Ministers has recommended the awarding of the relevant contract to the joint venture TBEA Shenyang Transformer Group and CELAX Engineering Limited. The concurrence of the Asian Development Bank has been received for the said recommendation. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the resolution submitted by the Minister of Power to award the long-term contract of importing diesel. Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Admiral Professor Jayanath Columbage, said that measures have been taken to correct several facts included in the report presented by the UN High Commissioner at the Human Rights Council Summit. It has been revealed that 90% of the facts included are on the base of internal political issues. He made these remarks at a meeting held at the Presidential Media Centre under the theme of Challengers and Sri Lanka at the United Nations Council Summit. He also questioned about the right she has to question about it. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Media Minister Dallas Alhapuruma says that the government is responding to the present economic crisis in the country in a more sensitive manner. He made this remark at a cabinet decision announcement meeting held today. He also stated the main reason for the present crisis is attributed to the present foreign exchange crisis. The support of all is needed to seek a solution for these issues. The food and fuel problems have been created globally as well, but the government is acting to solve all these problems by proper management. He also reiterated that the need is to build a national consensus instead of a national government. The main opposition, Samagi Jana Balawegaya, has organised a protest march to take a stand against the conduct of the government. The General Secretary of the party MP Ranjith Madhuma Bandara said the demonstration will kick off at 2 p.m. today near the Vihara Mahadevi Park in Colombo. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Minister of Health says that more than 7.5 million individuals have been administered the booster vaccines. The amount of entire doses of vaccine given to people have exceeded 38.7 million. 2 doses of the vaccines were provided to more than 14 million people. Meanwhile, over 618,000 corona-infected persons have recovered. The epidemiology unit of the ministry said that over 656 corona-infected patients have been reported in the country. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
In Watchlight, internationally competitive bidding has been invited for the purchase of 3 million particle filter face masks, which are used to prevent respiratory tract infections, and for the supply of 360,000 bottles of 50 milliliter human albumin liquid BPPH EUR 20%, which is used to treat patients suffering from various ailments. And that was Watchlight.
More prizes, more gains with CIB Nivea offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines. US issues warning to China. Russia-Ukraine war. British Fox News journalist injured. UN chief calls for efforts to promote gender equality and women's rights. World News in detail now. The United States is warning China not to support Russia. It is concerned the Asian superpower could undermine global efforts to bring peace to Ukraine by helping Russia circumvent an unprecedented wave of sanctions. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met with Beijing's top diplomat Yang Jiechi yesterday in Rome. The face-to-face talks came amid reports that Russia has asked China for military aid. The White House says Sullivan raised a range of issues about the U.S. relationship with China, and it says there was substantial discussion of Russia's war against Ukraine. A British journalist working for the Fox News channel in the US has been injured while reporting on the war in Ukraine, the network says. Fox confirmed on air that Benjamin Hall, listed as its US State Department correspondent, is in hospital after an incident outside of the capital Kyiv. Afternoon news anchor John Roberts added teams on the ground were still gathering details of the incident. Mr. Hall is said to have been gathering news at the time. In a memo circulated to Fox employees yesterday, CEO Suzanne Scott said there was, quote unquote, a minimum level of details right now, and called for prayers. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said yesterday that gender equality and women's rights must be at the heart of a renewed social contract that is fit for today's societies and economies. He made the appeal at the opening of the 66th session of the Commission on the Status of Women. This year's priority theme is achieving gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls in the context of climate change, environmental and disaster risk reduction policies and programs. The unprecedented emergencies of the climate crisis, pollution, desertification and biodiversity loss coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact of new and ongoing conflict have accelerated and intensified into widespread and interlinked crises that affect all people. But women and girls face the greatest threat and the deepest harm, said Guterres. Back to the headlines of the world news. US issues warning to China. Russia-Ukraine war. British Fox News journalist injured. UN chief calls for efforts to promote gender equality and women's rights. And that ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by... Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
408 houses will be constructed in Millagahavatta area in Vattala. Biddings have been called by following national competitive bidding system. The project will be implemented under the observation of the Urban Development Authority. The relevant contract has been given to a private company under the recommendation of the committee meeting of the Cabinet. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by... The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
The Australian women's cricket team is leading at the points table of the ICC Women's World Championship Cricket Tournament. They have won all 3 matches they played. The second phase has been secured by South Africa women's team. The third place has been secured by the Indian women's cricket team at the points table. The tournament is being held in New Zealand. 10 Sri Lankan weightlifters, 6 men and 4 women, have qualified to compete at the Commonwealth Games, which is scheduled to be held from July 28 to August 8 in Birmingham, England. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon has announced the launching of a special Aurudu promotion with discounts up to 30% for credit and debit card holders in the northern and eastern provinces. The bank has partnered with 25 merchants to offer these discounts on clothes, shoes, bags, household and lifestyle items, as well as for restaurant dining. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
It has been decided to initiate paper production activities of the Ambalipitia Paper Factory. The target is to produce 70,000 metric tons of paper needed annually. 3.5 billion rupees have been invested for the recommencement of the factory. And that was Economic News.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Sabaragamuwa and southern provinces and in the Kaluthara district after 2 p.m. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. And that was the weather report. And to conclude this news broadcast, back to the headlines. An advisory committee appointed for the support of the National Economic Council. Another 5 fuel ships are scheduled to arrive in the country. A long-term contract for the import of diesel and crude oil. Measures to correct the facts included in the Human Rights Commissioner's report. Media Minister says that the government is responding to the present economic crisis in a sensitive manner. And in foreign news, US issues warning to China. With that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.